Hey, good afternoon. My name is RWinborne, student for EDLE 8303. This is my video recording with my sponsor for the end of the year and the end of the program. This is Dr. Jesse Davis, our assistant superintendent here at Peach County Schools. When we started the program, he was the principal, so we've kind of shifted roles, and then I'm navigating out as an assistant principal and into the principalship at Elbert County High School at the end of the school year. So with this session, what we're going to do is we're going to look at our dispositions that we did through the PSC, as well as our leaks and teaks summatives that we did based on our individual assessments. So we'll start with the PSC review. I think it's the IDLE is what they call it. When we look at the differences between the self and the the sponsor, and I look at the baseline and the summative, it's really in line with each other. I mean, we're between 4s and 3s the whole way through. There was really no big gaps that I foresaw in between. The only area that I could foretell that may be some areas of improvement, maybe in the responsive category, which talks about modeling care, demonstrate respect for and interest in learning about the values and traditions of diverse cultures. But that's right around the average area, which is, as an average was rated 3. And there's always room for growth in that for everybody, in my perspective. But he and I were very much in line between the baseline and the summative. There was no stark differences in that area. Do you have anything you want to add for the IDLE?
Well, it's interesting. You're moving to a new district, and with every district has its own cultural components. Each community does. So I know you'll have an opportunity in your new role as the high school principal, especially in a one high school district. Right. As that school goes, so does the rest of the district. This piece about embracing, celebrating, recognizing the strength of diversity in that community there. Mm-hmm. I know that's something you're already thinking about, and you'll have opportunities to explore that more in that new role.
Definitely.
Yes,
definitely.
Sir.
Appreciate your feedback on that. And like I said, there was no big ahas or things to question there. Now, if we go ahead and just look at the self-assessment for the the leaks, rather. I'm just going to kind of go through. We were pretty much in line on instructional leadership, which has been my primary role here at Peach County High School. We were very close in line with school culture. No big differences in planning and assessment. But let's get into organizational management. So in organizational management, I rated myself a 4, and Dr. Davis gave me a 3. So one of the things we talked about was developing and maintaining a current crisis management plan, communicating local and state board fiscal policies, ensures efficiency of facilities, and ensures technology accessible, working, and use. So some of those I ranked a 4 for myself, or 5, and I did that as a holistic rating because I'm thinking back throughout my career as an AP over the span of 2 different schools, and then my working at a different school. But talk to me about your ratings and your thoughts on how I can address these moving forward.
Yeah, so the basis for my thought there, buddy, it was more experiential for you in my world of work with you, as opposed to ability demonstrated. As you just mentioned a moment ago, you were the point person as far as instructional leadership on the campus. And I did not view that as your work to produce that work, to direct it, and to develop those things. With our other team of administrators, we had people specifically titled and tasked with the operational aspect. Now, clearly, you play a valuable role in knowing that information and demonstrating an ability to execute when needed, especially with the safety stuff there. However, a lot of that I viewed when I was working with you as your principal as taking you off task from your other important roles. So again, for a second time now, you moving into that new role that you're moving into, you'll be very much hands-on with this, and you have demonstrated to me that the capacity for that work, no doubt about it. So I think that back to the experience piece, you're going to find yourself quickly immersed in that and will be leading that well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Next was human resources management. Pretty much in line. Most 4s, did receive a 3 for fosters and sustains the induction program. Talk to me about that piece.
Well, I tell you what, buddy, some of that really I think is a lack of clarity as far as the vision for how that should look in our school district. because I see at the district level we have some supports in place and some requirements for induction level teachers to participate in, but then some of that shifts over to the school level as far as supporting their needs more directly. I think that's a district opportunity to strengthen that program, because if I'm somewhat unclear about it, that tells me it's probably a process problem.
And just to give you some more information on that, when Miss Evans was with us as an instructional coach and lead, she and I partnered together and we brought together the Paul Santoyo and the Doug Lemove processes, and we were using that during our induction meetings per month. Well, the next year, the district stole it, and so they were using that at the district level. So we're actually, what we did this year is we're leveraging Dr. George, who's serving as a teacher mentor.
She's a great one.
And so this year we pretty much put her over, it's about 8 teachers that actually range from years 1 to 4, and any teacher that needed additional supports that may be a veteran. And we did have one that fell in that category that we needed some instructional coaching along the way.
So it's marginally effective folks, not just the people that are new to the profession. Yeah.
Correct. So she's covering those. She's meeting with them monthly. She does surveys with them to kind of gauge where they are, goes in and observes them. So we do have an induction program, but it's not truly in line with what the district is doing.
Yeah.
Because, like I said, they came in, saw what we were doing, and took it, which is good.
Buddy, to your point, when we came in, we were tasked with building out a lot of these processes, even for the district. So I think there was pretty much an absence of any sort of support, or at least formal, for these folks. So I credit you with being part of building that. But yeah, the variance in the ratings, I think, is simply that. It's something that is still being built. It's not there yet in terms of a district vision for what that should look like. So that's as much about the district as it has been your work in that area.
Let's see. Moving on. Let's see. Professionalism. We're pretty much. Let's see. So here we did have some opportunities this year that we didn't take. Networks with other school leaders, provide support, and visits of the school. I was able to visit 2 schools this year.
Yes.
One was Mary Persons High School, which we were able to kind of bring back their Illuminate program that they use, present it to the district. I know the district's been looking at that as a possibility for data collection and assessment. So I was only able to do 2 schools this year. And then network with other school leaders. That's going to be an ongoing process, because I did network, just had one opportunity with GASSP, assistant principals.
I think you're now going to participate in a program through Gale.
I am.
Right.
Yep, the new Principals Academy, which is new to Gale.
That's going to be your springboard for that, for sure.
For sure.
I look forward to that for you.
So excited about that opportunity, and we'll learn more about that in July. Moving down to communication, community relations. So develops opportunities to solicit feedback from students, staff, parents, community. I think this weighs more towards the parents and the community side, because we do a lot of surveying and feedback from staff and students. So I know this is going to be a huge component of my work going forward as a principal. And I mean, I've already having those conversations with the district office superintendent about ways of reaching out and partnering with the community, because the previous administration, they've told me, has not done a very great job of doing that. So that's something I've got to build on from the get-go.
But you know what? I know about your background enough, buddy, to know that you've been exposed to some really effective strategies there, and some administrative listening sessions and so forth. And I also know that coming in new as part of your onboarding and earning the trust for this new community and this new school that you're supporting, that's like critical. So it's great to see that you're already thinking about these things and taking those first steps.
Yeah, I've already spoken with the assistant superintendent, who's going to be my direct boss, of course. And school doesn't have a principal's advisory council with the students, doesn't have a leadership team. I did meet with what's our LSGT here. They call it a local school council there. I was able to meet with them last week, and they have parents on that. So that kind of started that process. We're already looking to identify students to be on the principal's advisory board. And then, like you said, those administrative listening sessions, those are going to be critical, because the staff, I met with all the departments a couple of weeks ago, and the consistent message is we'd like to have a little voice. And so just partnering with them and letting them, voice what their thoughts and concerns are I think it's going to go a long way too.
That, sir, is low hanging fruit, and I know that you'll harvest that.
Yes, sir. Well, that kind of takes a stab at the leaks. Do you have any final parting words of wisdom before we sign off?
You know what? No, not necessarily, Mr. Winborne. I know our conversations continue about, again, your onboarding and transition up there. It gave me great pleasure to endorse you for that work. I see the capacity within you to do great work up there, and I hope that along the way you and I've grown together in such a way that it's going to benefit us both career-wise and better able to support students and teachers.
Sounds good. Well, I appreciate your time.
Yeah.
I appreciate your mentorship through this process and going forward.
Well, and I know that is not coming to a conclusion. I know we'll continue to have this collegiality and support one another, and I look forward to that.
For sure.
Yes,
Thank you
sir.
so much.
Yes, sir.